Another tech time for October. We're going to do masks in Photoshop. It's a little bit advanced because masks are kind of a concept that people tend not to use when they first start using Photoshop, but they tend to be very powerful and make manipulating photos easy, kind of risk-free as well, because you're not really damaging any of the photos underneath, any of the image information underneath a layer, so that's why that's a good place to start. Basically, you're just going to talk about kind of 4 different types of masks. Kind of a gradient mask, sure, little typo there, a clipping mask, pixel-based mask to kind of change the color of things, and then like the big one that everybody really wants to know, but is really kind of the most time-consuming and really is just like kind of a labor of how much time and effort you want to put into it, is how to really clip out somebody's hair and put them into a photo. We'll try to do it fast. I'll try to share some of the tools to do it quickly, but it is kind of, the more time you spend on it, the better it's going to get. Starting out the first one with like gradient masks. This is a real good one because sometimes you'll have like a building, you know, it could be a building on campus, it could be a haunted building in Charleston or something. So, but you want to make a poster of it. And there's really no place to really put a lot of good text or anything. So one of the easiest things to do is to kind of go in. Oh, you know what I will do? I've always done this too. Let's make my cursor nice and big so y'all can see it. Oh wait, when I step back too, I can find the cursor real fast. So it's hidden behind a cursor. Okay, well I made a new layer. I'm going to fill it with white. So there's a keyboard shortcut for that too. It's I finally figured out the way how to remember whether it's Command or Option Delete. It'll be Command, or it'll be Option if it's the one to the left. It'll be Command if it's the one to the right. So finally, I don't get it backwards because I always kind of get this dyslexic and have to do it like twice. Yep. So like if I do Option Delete, it's brown. Do Command Delete, it's white. I finally realized those 2 keys are right and left, and the chips are right and left. And that just, you know, it's a keyboard shortcut that saves you a lot of time and whatnot. But, okay, so now I got a white layer on top of my big building. What I'll do for now is just make a mask. Got a mask button down here at the bottom of the layers. And my chips have turned black and white, because when you're in a mask mode, all you really get is black and white and shades of gray in between. Go to the gradient tool up here and kind of drag. And I think it does the same thing too. It's always from right to left. So I think it'll go from white to black. But this is another thing that usually you get backwards. Hold down Shift and it locks to, you know, directly horizontal or, you know, 45 degrees or. And yeah, just actually kind of maybe say I want half the photo kind of washed out. Oh, this is actually good. This is for like vignetting, but this is a whole nother thing. The gradient I put on there was not a linear gradient because it was checked up here to be kind of a radial, like circular. So it kind of faded out the sides. That was a reverse vignette. We'll do that later, but way to make your pictures look all nice and fancy. That would be good if the layer was black and it faded out to black, because then it would look kind of like antique-y and whatnot. But that's not what we're doing. So we go back here. Regular linear gradient. Oh, and it combined the 2 now. So I'm going to throw that mask away. Don't apply, delete it. Make a new one. Oops. There you go. He just does not want to play nice. And this is going to be probably the curse of mask today. Delete. Oh, now we're layer that doesn't have mask, has color chips. Crazy. All right, make the mask. Draw the line. And basically, what I've got now, if I turn off the building underneath, So I've got a layer that kind of is white that fades off into transparent. And that's what's going over the top of the picture of the building. And this is really useful if you have like a lot of text about like an event that's going on in this building or something, and it needs to be really legible, so you can't have text over the image. And it's nice. It kind of looks a little bit professional, a little bit like you knew how you're doing Photoshop. So I use that a lot in posters. I think a lot of people do. You'll notice it, people gradiating stuff out. So that was kind of gradient mask real quick. Next one is like clipping masks. I'm going to see if I have a good one for that. I did not get my... So we'll just pretend we'll do it on the same layer. All right, so there's another way to make a mask. This is kind of a fun little Photoshop thing that you see a lot too, but you kind of take the text tool and you write something like, no, we'll just do like MUSC. It's really, really tiny. So use the free transform tool, scale that up, 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 up. Oh good, it's a nice bold font. And this will really work with any object that's on a layer that has transparency around it. So text is real good because it's an object, it's got transparency around it. And what you could do, actually I'm gonna throw away this layer we're not dealing with anymore. Make this back into...
So it doesn't build on top of the mask?
No, but what we're gonna do, it would have gone on top of the mask. My mask was, here, we'll go back in history. My mask was turned off.
Okay.
So, let's see. We should have it now. So yeah, if the mask was still on, you would see it. And the reason you kind of lose the C is because it's white, and white just kind of blends into it. But I was kind of just showing how to do this clipping mask thing. So you can make anything that has transparency into a mask as well.
So which layer are you clicking on? So you're clicking on the background layer?
What I'm going to do real soon is I'm going to click between the two layers, and that's going to clip the two together. And I think that's, yeah, option. You get this funny little thing when you have one layer, when you're like hovering on the line and you hold down option. And it's going to make it a clipping layer. Oh, should have made it a clipping layer. And once again, I think it's one of those things I get upside down and backwards often too. Yep, there you go. So basically, we've clipped this top layer under here. And what's interesting about that now is you could still grab any one of the layers and move it around. And it's like the picture doesn't move. And you could do it the opposite way too. You grab the picture and then you see little things like I did the little gumball thing for gumballs. It's an interesting way to do text, but it really works with anything that has transparency. So I was going to get a little picture maybe of a Kylo Ren mask or something. You'd see that like in a movie poster or something too. Or I could take like the logo. That's actually a good thing. I'll take like, if I get a logo. There we go. You can take like a fun little hands-on help logo. We should be able to clip that to it too. So that would be kind of like a way to make a poster, like if you had the title and then maybe a picture of the mask. And I've actually never really, hey you, oh I broke the clipping mask by doing that. I guess you have to do it twice. You can't put two clipping masks on the same layer. So that's interesting. But being the same thing, if we kind of just throw out, can I throw that one out? I should be able to, top again, option. That's kind of funny because the bottom of the picture wasn't there, but you can kind of see. So it's a good way to kind of build it up. So you get the text, you get like an icon, a logo, and a background. So just another way to kind of play with clipping masks to try to create something a little bit interesting. Oh, here's another fun thing to do with clipping masks. So this is always a good one. This is like, how do you change somebody's shirt color? How do you change, the background, the flowers? I don't like the flower color. So this one's fun because what you do is you kind of copy one layer. And here's where you get really crazy because you could go in here and just really change like like the color, like with a little like White Walker color. Get those eyes like super blue. And all I'm really caring about right now is the blue eyes. So I'm kind of just looking at the eyes, make them really, really blue. I'll hit like OK. And I'll put a mask on again. And I'll fill the mask with solid black. And that's going to kind of make it look like it completely disappears. But now I can kind of come in with the brush tool. You can come in with any tool, selection tool, any way to make a tool. And I will paint with white. I do this really quick and easy. Kind of just pull out their eyes. This works well too because you could do people's teeth, like sometimes if they have like very yellow teeth or something. And what was nice about changing the color on just the one layer is it kept all like the detail of the eye and the reflection and everything. Cursor still looks like Rudolph.
How can the blue go over the iris or?
Well, it's because kind of when the color shifted from black to I think I could turn that off. Usually black just doesn't color shift all that much. I'm trying to see.
Okay.
Try to remember how to turn that off. Never do that often. That was option. Oh. But yeah,
So
usually.
you first lassoed it. Is that what you did?
Well, the lasso came from me hitting like control on the mask. Anytime you have a mask, you could turn it into a selection. I guess it's command. It's not really used all that much. I mean, some people do, and you can do it the other way too. You can make any selection into a mask.
How did you know to select that?
Because of the mask.
Okay.
I should.
I missed the spot. I was
All right.
writing the.
See, this is the mask over the.
Uh-huh.
All right. So now I'm going to command click, like right on that chip, and it's going to make that selection between the black and the white. Like I said, I actually don't use it very often, but some people could. And we can take the other eye too, just like paint more white. Oh, that's actually good. I kind of went outside the eye, but you can kind of see how you could fix it too, because when you paint with black, again, you can kind of see I got kind of sloppy out there. Actually, we get real sloppy. It's like, oh no, he's crying. But you shift it back to paint with black, and you could just kind of paint that away. And that's good for all types of color correction, because sometimes photos, you know, there's just something, some color that's just a little bit off that you want to change. Or maybe you just really want blue-eyed kittens. So that's fun. I mean, cars, shirts, you know, somebody's supposed to wear red that day, they wore blue or something. It's like, oh, no. We'll change that, not a problem. And that was pretty quick and easy. All right, well now, the really fun one. Oh, you want?
I said I wouldn't ask
Oh,
questions,
no,
but
no. I'm moving
if you
quick.
were
So it's
looking
good.
for a particular shade of blue, when you're doing the hue and saturation, can you plug in a hex color or anything like that? Not really.
I wouldn't do it. You can. What I would do for that is I'd put a layer over the layer, like one layer of the solid color of your hex color, and then I would kind of maybe move down its transparency a little bit, which would truly actually be changing the hex color a little bit too, because as it loses transparency, it's changing. But that's the way I really kind of try to color match something. Like if you really want somebody's like dress or something to be a specific color, it's a little tricky to do it exactly right, because you know there's going to be highlights and there's going to be shadows, which are going to be off of the specific color. But really, it's kind of do your best guess to make it look that way. Because even like you see somebody wear something indoor with these lights and outdoor in the sun, they look different. But doing the hue saturation is very nice because it really kind of keeps the same kind of values, the same keys and stuff. It doesn't look as jarring when you see something kind of put in that way. All right, so now I guess everybody wants to know how to cut out people's hair really well. And hair is tricky because it's really like the more you work it, the better it's going to get. Like say, you got a lot of hair there. We'll try to make a mask and make it work. One thing I do, I duplicate the layer, turn the bottom layer off, maybe even lock it. I don't know why I can't lock it. Oh, I guess you can't lock if it's off. What I'd probably do is like quick select tool. Ooh, that's huge. And just kind of start knocking out some of this white. So down here. Go into the mask tool. Why they do it this way, I don't know, because it's backwards. When I go, it's going to knock her out, not the person. So it'd be like, that's exactly what I don't want. So go step back. There's selection inverse. I think there's a way to, yeah, the little keyboard shortcut like Shift Option I. You learn that one too. And that basically just kind of turned my selection from the white to the girl. So now she's covered. So I'll go back and put the mask on, and it's kind of bad. It's kind of there, but it's kind of not really all that good. But now they've got these buttons, kind of much like Word or something. There's this ribbon, and there's the like, select and mask. Hit that button, and you're going to go into like fancy new mode. Everything's kind of changed. This is kind of like default, like kind of old school Photoshop with like Ruby Lith, where they put this red. I always keep mine kind of transparent. And now it's going to kind of show you everything that's kind of pinkish, red, is going to be knocked away. I can see I've got a lot of stuff in that hair that needs to be fixed up. What I'm going to do is use like kind of this brush over here. I don't know what it's called. I think it's like fine detail brush or something. Put its radius up to just like 1 or 2, not much at all. And then I'm just going to start painting in these areas. And it's going to try to, it's doing edge detection and radius. Sometimes I guess you click smart. I typically don't. And you're just going to see it's going to start kind of fixing it. And what it's doing is just trying to kind of find contrast, and it's trying to fix it. And this is really one of those things you could spend time and really zoom in close and kind of fix it. But you can kind of see how it's trying its best to kind of figure out the contrast between the things I'm clicking on. It's doing a 2 pixel kind of tolerance, so it's like, hey, either it's there or it's not. And you can kind of keep going back and forth in this mode too, like you could test it for a while and go back. And oh, there is one thing. This button here, decontaminate colors. You need to do that because I can show you what it's going to do without it, and then we come back and do it with it. Okay, so say I wanted it, and like we're cool. We're like, hey, we got a mask. It's awesome. And let's just make a new layer, and I'll fill it with. Oh, you know what I'll do? I'll take the picture of the haunted house. Put it behind her. And you can kind of see there's like a lot of kind of jaggedies and whatnot. But if you decontaminate colors, that helps a good bit with that. Actually, that's not nearly as bad as I thought it would be. But once again, you kind of select the mask, go in there, decontaminate colors. Oh, actually, I didn't even know it did a preview on there. But yeah, you kind of see how it fixed it in there. It just took out a little bit of the white jaggies. It's kind of trying to average it with the colors that are underneath it. So it helps. And that's kind of how you do hair. Like I said, you can kind of spend a bunch of time trying to get that in there, fix that in there. Actually, I lost your whole shoulder there. So that's a fun one. So I can go back there, kind of paint with white, get her shoulder. Oh, quick select tool, wrong tool, not the regular brush. Kind of paint her shoulder back in. And this is like when people really start talking about Photoshop, like painting with Photoshop. I mean, we were really not doing layout, we weren't doing anything. We're just creating something different from what we started with. And that's hair. And those are masks in Photoshop. It's kind of like the quick and easy, dirty thing you can do with them. Kind of wash out gradient across like an image. Changing cat's eye color, using something that already has transparency to kind of make a clipping path around it. And a really, really basic attempt at kind of doing hair in 5 minutes. So, questions?